I get it. You'd like to get rich, but there's one small problem. You don't know how to. Well, let's talk about how you can get rich by living off of dividends. Before anything else, let's talk about compounding. Hello and welcome back to Tied to Wealth, where you're just one sale away from financial success. Albert Einstein famously said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Compound interest makes your money grow faster because interest is calculated on the accumulated interest over time, as well as your original principal. Confusing? I know. Let's simplify this, folks. Have you ever witnessed a small snowball rolling down a hill, slowly accumulating more snow over time, growing in size as it goes down? It's beautiful, isn't it? Now, imagine that instead of a snowball, it's your dividends from your diverse range of stocks within your investment portfolio that are growing. As your investments continue their journey, they collect more dividends that you can invest back. Now, because of the power of compounding, your investments will increase in size exponentially, like a snowball gaining mass as it rolls down a hill. Okay, interesting, right? But how exactly does this work? What strategy should you use to achieve this? What do you need in order to generate close to $7,000 in monthly earnings? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about how you can strategize your investments to make around $7,000 a month. We'll also talk about how you can invest if you aim to make less than that. Because here's the thing, everyone out there is on a different investment journey. You might aim to secure $2,000 a month in earnings because you live in a part of the world like Southeast Asia, where $2 will go a long way, while someone else might want or even need to earn $7,000 because they live in the United States. So, before you decide what you need, and before you decide on how to structure your investments, you need to understand your financial circumstances so you can align your choices with long-term goals. Let's talk about compounding dividends. The concept is extremely simple. When a company makes money, it often pays some of it to shareholders. That money is called a dividend. Now, that money can be used to buy back the company's shares, or you can use that money to buy some other company's shares too. This simple process increases the total value of the shares you have. So next time you get paid a dividend, it will be higher in value. That then helps you buy even more shares, and the process goes on. To truly understand why and how this process is so good, let's talk about what Warren Buffett said. Someone is enjoying the benefits today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Patience and time are essential elements, and this analogy holds true in the world of investments. Establish your investment portfolio centered around dividend-paying companies, and then allow it to grow and compound over time, much like a snowball's journey downhill. For example, let's say you bought 1,000 shares of a stock that traded for $100. The total investment that you made would end up being somewhere around $100,000. The stock that you just bought has a 3% dividend yield, so you'll receive $3 per share over the year, which is $3,000 in dividends. When you take the dividends to buy more stock, your total investment is now $103,000. Now let's assume that the stock price stays constant, but the company increases its dividends by 6% a year. In the second year, you will get a dividend yield of 3.18% on your $103,000 for a dividend of about $3,275. This dividend reinvestment strategy continues to increase the yield on cost over time. After 10 years, this hypothetical portfolio will produce $7,100 in dividends, and after 20 years, you'll be receiving $24,300 a year. Simple, right? Okay, now let's talk about another strategy, and for this, let's use the stock of Sherwin-Williams Company. The Sherwin-Williams Company, headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio, is a prominent American corporation specializing in the production, distribution and retailing of paints, coatings, floor coverings, and associated products. Its customer base includes professionals, industries, commercial enterprises, and retail consumers, primarily across North and South America and Europe. We're going to consider two investment models lasting 25 years. Strategy 1, you invest $1,000 and that's it. Strategy 2, you invest $300 every month. Now, the Sherwin-Williams Company is where you want to put your money and earn a dividend from. In order to predict how the dividend will grow, we're going to take a look at the past. And in order to do that, we're going to take a look at the compounding annual growth rate, also known as CAGR. This is the rate of return required for an investment to grow from its beginning to its ending balance, assuming the profits were reinvested at the end of each period of the investment's lifespan. The CAGR for the past 5 years for this company is 16.13% for the past 5 years. Now imagine you invest $1,000 and wait 25 years. After 25 years, your initial investment will grow to $84,534.30. Not bad at all. But is this even enough to live with for the rest of your life? Not really, because what that'll give you is an annual dividend of $2,167.18, which honestly isn't much to live with. It's just $180.5 a month. But there's a way you can change that. How about instead of not contributing anything, you contribute $200 a month to your investment? Well, when you take that into account, the calculation is entirely different. By investing $200 a month, your investment will now be worth $1,135,302.90. Now, that's something you can retire with. Or can you? At that point, your annual dividend will be $29,043.86, which is just $2,400. When you factor in inflation, this really isn't much. It's a lot better than not having all that money. Now, if instead of $200 you contribute $300 a month, your monthly dividend will be $3,500 a month. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now imagine an entirely different scenario. What if, instead of investing $1,000 at the start, you invested $10,000? Let's see what happens then. And in this case, we're going to assume that you don't make any monthly contributions at all whatsoever. In this scenario, you'll have an annual income of $21,671.78, and your investment will be worth $845,000. So one thing is clear. While it's extremely important for you to invest a large amount of money in the first place, it's even more important to make monthly contributions. Because when you take this same example, the one where you invest $10,000, and you add a monthly contribution to it, magical things happen. Assuming you find $200 per month in your budget to invest back into the stock, let's find out what happens. So your investment balloons up to $1,896,111.59. That's a pretty solid number. You can either sell it all off and retire on cash, which just by the way isn't recommended by any financial experts, or you can live off the dividend that you make. Now, with this much stock, the value of your annual dividend will be $49,000, and that will give you a monthly income of $4,083. Again, not a bad number, but maybe you'd like more money for your golden years. Well, in that case, you will need to put in even more money each month. If you invest $10,000 to buy the stock of the Sherwin-Williams Company and contribute $500 a month to your investment, while also reinvesting the dividends, then your investment at the end will be $3,472,264.50. Sounds like a dream, honestly. But then again, is this really enough money to retire? Well, that depends on how much money you really need. This investment will give you an annual income of $88,863.48, which translates to roughly over $7,400 a month. Now we're talking. There is one thing though, that can really help you with all of this, and that's the fact that you can always start early. By the way, if you're enjoying everything in this video so far, would really appreciate it if you could just like and hit the subscribe button. So far, we've only assumed the model where you invest for 25 years. But let's say you look at what happens when you invest for 30 years. What ends up happening because of those extra 5 years will really surprise you. So let's keep everything else consistent over the last example. You take $10,000 and you put in $500 every month. Now, for the 25-year model, you would have had a monthly income of $7,400, which ain't bad. But with the 30-year model, your investment value will be $9,073,631.80. Not only that, but your annual dividend will be around $292,000, which will give you a monthly income of $24,333. Now that's something that will help you retire comfortably. Well folks, with that said, let us know in the comments if you agree with this strategy for your retirement. See you next time.